So we then proceeded to set him up with like 700 of the most beautiful, lovely brunette women in the city of Los Angeles.
19 to be specific.
I'm Alessandra Conti.
And I'm Christina Conti Pineda.
And today we are talking about 3 deal breakers that are keeping you single.
Deal breaker number 1, physical preferences.
Yes. So these physical preferences, this is height. So ladies, when you're coming into us saying, I'll only date a guy who's above 6 foot, this is a preference. A lot of women love a man that's over 6 foot. That's a beautiful quality of a young man. Is that a deal breaker? No, unless you are 6 foot and for you, that's something that you want a guy that's taller than you, totally fine. But again, that's a preference. And we've even seen women who are taller, models, a lot of models have this issue. They're taller and they're like, really, I don't care how tall the guy is as long as he's okay with my height. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times that's what women will say. They'll say, oh yeah, I don't really care, but as long as he doesn't mind my height. That's what a lot of taller women say. Yes. But we get some 5'1" women telling us, I'll only date him if it's over 6 foot. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you're really getting in your own way.
Yes.
And even we've seen so many successful couples where the woman is taller than the man. Mm-hmm. If you don't want that, that's fine. We usually choose height appropriate matches
of course,
anyway.
Like,
we understand that. And Matchmakers in the City, it's a little different. But if you're dating on your own and you really
give that 5'7" guy a chance.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So let's talk about the other thing in this deal breaker of physical preferences. Hair color. Oh, Christina, would you tell us about one of our favorite early clients?
Yes, he was one of our bachelors and just a great guy.
Great guy.
He did a membership where he told us he only wanted to date brunettes.
Yeah.
Women who had brown hair.
He said that is like my thing. He's like, I get it. I'm sure blonde women are lovely. I'm just not attracted to blonde women. So we took his advice and we said, okay, we're a matchmaking company. Absolutely. There are tons of beautiful brunette women out there. So we then proceeded to set him up with like 700 of the most beautiful, lovely brunette women in the city of Los Angeles.
19 to be specific. So he had a great time. He had wonderful membership.
Wonderful membership. Great feedback about the women, but for some reason, it wasn't the one.
She wasn't the one yet.
She wasn't the one yet. Something wasn't clicking.
We met another amazing bachelorette. She had blonde hair, however.
So we said, hey, listen, we know she's blonde. Could you give us this? Could you give us this one match?
It was actually his last match.
Final match. Mm-hmm. He gave us the final match. They're married. You guys, they are married. So this is why it's so important yes, this is a preference. You may like people, like for women, you may love a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. That's great. That's preference. But don't veto a guy or a woman or a man based on their hair color. Right. That is keeping you single.
Yes, and same thing with eye color, obviously. That's even more.
That is, no, I'm sorry. If somebody comes in and is like, I'll only date people with blue eyes, I'm like, you're delusional and it's time to go. Then they'll leave me a 1-star review. So the second deal breaker that is keeping you single is sharing common interests.
Yes, and this one, of course you want to be able to connect with the person who you're dating, but you can connect in really deep things like your values, your faith, you want to be on the same page about if you want to get married, if you want to have children. In our other video, you'll look at that in more detail. But if someone's so specific of, I love board games, and she needs to love board games, that's a really difficult thing to match by, because then the other things might not line up. The more important things might not line up. And You can have different activities that you like to do, which help you enrich the relationship that you have. So you can teach her how to play board games, or you can go off with your friends and play board games with them while she has a girls' night where she does things that she likes to do. These are ways that you can increase the spice in your relationship by having different interests.
Absolutely. Some of the feedback that really gets me when we set up to a man and a woman, and like a lot of women come into us and they're like, I love a masculine alpha male.
Oh, yes.
I love that woodcutter type.
Oh, yes, good. Go on this, please.
Yes, so like, okay, great. We then proceed to matchmake them with a super masculine type.
Very
who's
alpha.
the woodcutter type. Very
Top alpha.
Top alpha male.
Attractive.
And then they, will give us feedback saying, we had absolutely nothing in common. He loves hunting, he loves being in the wilderness, and he loves being in the outdoors. He's very rugged, and this and that. And we're like, but sweetheart, this is the problem. If you desire that alpha, super like masculine, traditionally like type of guy, you are most likely going to get somebody who has very different interests than you. He's not going to be going to brunch with his girlfriends. No. He's not going to be shopping on Rodeo Drive. That is not what he is going to be interested in. No. But that's not a bad thing. Like, you can introduce him to the finer things in life, to the more lovely elements of relaxing, having a glass of wine, doing this, doing that. You don't have to share common interests to be an amazing couple and to connect on a deeper level.
You don't have to go camping if that's not your thing.
No!
He can go with his friends. He can do those trips as a guy's trip.
Totally. That's healthy. It's healthy to have different interests. It is healthy and it will help your relationship in the long run. Because Lord knows when you're in a long-term relationship, you need time apart, and then you need that time to come together and be like, oh my gosh, yes, I did this. If you're together 24/7, it's a recipe for disaster. Just look at all the COVID breakups.
Yeah, that's true. The third deal breaker is the man making more money than the woman.
So a lot of women come in, we work with a lot of very successful women who are making in the high 6 figures, some 7 figures, which is great, 1 or 2 8 figures, which is, really fabulous. But the thing is, these women will come in and they will say, I make $300,000 a year, and a man that I'm dating needs to also make equal to or greater than $300,000 a year. Why is this problematic, Christina?
It's problematic because you're valuing yourself out of the dating market. Imagine if Taylor Swift had said that I need to meet someone who's making more money than me. She wouldn't be able to date anyone, okay? And that's what you're doing to yourself. You want a man who's in a stable career, excited about what he does, or working towards changing it, or working towards a great thing in his life. He doesn't have to be making more money than you to be a provider and to be someone who's going to be stable. Jobs come and go. Absolutely. He could have an amazing multi-million-dollar career and job, and then he could lose that career. You don't know.
Absolutely. When you marry for money, you end up paying for the rest of your life. Yes. And that statement is so true. Bethany Frankel said that. And it's so true because even say you meet a guy and then all of a sudden he invests his money and then boom, it's gone. So it's really the most important elements about a man are not how much money he's making, but money comes and goes, but a degree lasts forever, or his values last forever.
His character traits, his work ethic,
yes,
his
skills, work ethic. Oh my gosh,
what is his training, his skills, his drive, his passion.
Is he family oriented? Does he want to have kids? Does he long to have children? Is he going to be a good father to your children?
Is he going to be a workaholic the whole time and you'll never see him?
See, and that's another thing, because a lot of women who are coming in, they want this guy who's making all this money, but then a lot of those men, they can't give you the emotional support that you need or that quality time that you need. If your love language is gift giving, that's fine. I mean, yeah, we can go for it. But if your love language is quality time, then a lot of times these men are traveling constantly. Their number one priority is work. Okay, it's the most important thing is to look at the man in a holistic way, instead of just saying
a price tag.
Yeah, it's kind of like if a guy were to say, I'll only date women who are under 120 pounds.
Right.
Okay? Because it's the same thing. You can gain weight, you can lose weight. Women, that is so offensive. Imagine if a guy said that. We're matchmakers, we hear it all the time. It's the same thing with men who are successful. If a woman comes in and she's like, I'll only date a guy who's making, you can say, listen, I want a guy who's, he loves to travel, he's really passionate about his career. Of course, those things, in order to do those things, and in order to be ready for a family, you need to be at a certain financial level. So we take that in and we say, of course, yeah, for sure. But once you put a price tag on a man, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. It's going to sabotage your love life and it's going to keep you single forever. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video and if you want more, we have tons of videos. They come out every Tuesday, once a week. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything.
And share with your friends who are also in need of this help.
And chronically single. And are maybe self-sabotaging themselves. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.